Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Time to Thrive podcast. My name is Anna.
And I'm Haelle.
And today we're going over our Bible study topics that we do for our different episodes. And I really enjoy getting into this because we get to see what I'm studying in mine and we get to see what Haelle's studying in hers. And you'll kind of get to see a little bit of what we're studying, what God's put on our hearts. And yeah, we're going to go with Haelle first. She's going to share with what she's been studying, what's been on her heart, and then yeah, we'll just dive into that.
Okay. So I've been in Genesis lately, which I feel like you and I have been so polar opposite with our Bible studies. But it's fun because then we get to hear from both and not just all in one area of the Bible.
Yeah.
But in Genesis currently, I'm almost through with it. So I'm just finished the part and the story about Jacob and his son Joseph and all that happens with them.
Yeah.
And so specifically, I want to mention like Genesis chapter 37. And so in this chapter, we see the beginning of the story of Joseph. We see his family situation where we see that Jacob has many sons, but all of those sons have different mothers. And so we see in that it causes a lot of division. Jacob obviously clearly plays favorites with Joseph, and so that causes even more division between the brothers and in the family. And so, it was encouraging though, because even though that we see that the family was imperfect, it still brought Joseph to life, which we see that later on helped fulfill the God's ultimate plan that he had for the Egyptians and for Joseph's family. And so we see in this chapter that, like most of us who know the story, Jacob gives his favorite son Joseph a coat of many colors. We see later on that Joseph has dreams, and when they're interpreted, we see that they mean that his brothers and his family are going to bow down to him, and that just causes even more discord between him and his brothers. And so in the end, his brothers plot to kill them, but then one of the brothers convinces them to just sell him into slavery and to fake his death. And so even though all of this bad is happening, it ultimately lands Joseph in Egypt as a slave, and then eventually he's even in prison too. Even though during these horrible times, we see that God never left Joseph, that he never forsake him. And then we see later on how much worse the story gets for Joseph. But even when it does, God is still with Joseph, and he was still working out in that situations. Because if Joseph never was in Egypt at the time that he was, if he never was faithful the way he was and was able to eventually become the prime minister of Egypt, the Egyptians and Joseph's family would have never survived the famine that ended up coming. And what was really cool too, my commentary mentioned, I never thought of it this way, but had Joseph's family died in the famine, then the Messiah, Jesus, wouldn't have come from the line of Judah, because Judah was one of Joseph's brothers. And so I think it's really encouraging and comforting to see the way that God works out his plans, because even though it seems bad for us in the moment, we can be encouraged and have hope that it's going to work out for his glory. He's ultimately going to work it out for our good in the end. And we know that he's not going to forsake us, even when sometimes it feels like it. And so when we see in this, like, had the Messiah not been born in the line of Judah, had Jesus not come at all, we would still be dead in our sin, would be hopeless to face God's wrath and judgment with no hope, with no salvation. And so because of this, we can trust God that his plan is good, that his plan is going to be fulfilled, and that he is going to take care of us no matter what happens.
Yeah, that's good. I love the story of Joseph.
I do too.
I think it's so cool. And there's the movie of it.
I love the movie.
Yeah.
The King of Dreams.
Yeah. I like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one of the main things like I got from like Joseph's story about was like his perspective and everything, like how it was constantly, and I think it's somewhere, I can't remember the verses like off the top of my head, but how he's like, it wasn't, when he said seen his brothers, and he was like, it wasn't you who sent me here, like it was God who sent me here. And it's like, how could, like, wow, like, because his brothers were the one who sold him into slavery, and then for him to be able to say, no, it was God who allowed me to be here, like that's
and for him to be able to show
crazy.
Such forgiveness and mercy to his brothers too.
Yeah.
And so if you have any questions, feel free to comment them or DM us, and like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.